Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who speaks English so well and you wonder, how do they do it? They speak easily. They use the right words. It sounds natural, but you feel stuck. You think, I study English, I go to classes, I watch movies, but still, it's hard for me. Well, what if I told you there's one simple thing that can change everything? One habit that can improve your speaking, writing, grammar, and vocabulary, all at the same time. And guess what? You can do it at home. No teacher, no homework. Today, I will show you how reading in English can help you speak and write better. I will tell you why it works, how to do it, and how to enjoy it. This might be the most important English lesson you ever watch, so stay with me till the end. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Power of Reading, Why It Works Better Than You Think. So, let's talk about reading. Many of my students ask me, why should I read in English? They say, I already watch English movies. I listen to English music. I use English apps. Isn't that enough? It's a good question, and I understand why they think that. But the answer is, no, it's not enough. Reading is not the same as watching or listening. Reading helps your brain learn English in a different way. It's deeper, it's slower, and it works better. Let me explain. When you watch a movie or listen to a podcast, the words move fast. You don't have time to stop and think. Maybe you understand the meaning, but the words come and go. You forget them quickly. You can enjoy the show, but you don't always learn from it. But when you read, the words stay still. You see how they are used in real sentences. You notice how grammar works, without needing to study grammar rules. You learn new vocabulary, and you remember it, because you see it again and again. Reading is like food for your English brain. You don't just look at the food, you eat it. You take it in. It becomes part of you. And the best part? You don't even feel like you're working hard. You're just reading a story. You're enjoying it. But your brain is learning the whole time. Now, let me tell you a little secret. People who read a lot in English learn faster than people who don't. They speak better. They write better. They know more words. Even their grammar is better, even if they never study grammar. Here's a simple example. Think about this sentence. She has lived in London for 5 years. You can learn this sentence from a grammar book, but if you see it in a story like, she moved to London in 2018, now it's 2023. She has lived in London for 5 years. You understand it better. You see the meaning. You feel the time. It becomes real, not just grammar. This is how reading helps you. It gives you real, living English, not textbook English. And this is not just my opinion. There are studies, big ones. Experts in language learning like Dr. Stephen Krashen have shown that students who read a lot learn faster than students who only do grammar and vocabulary exercises. They tested students who read simple books every day. After 1 year, their English level went up more than students who did only grammar classes. The readers spoke better, wrote better, and even did better on grammar tests, without studying grammar. And this doesn't only happen in classrooms. I've seen it myself. I once had a student named Rena. She was shy. She didn't speak much. She was afraid to make mistakes. but she loved stories. I gave her easy books to read. She read every day, just 15 minutes. After 3 months, she started speaking more. After 6 months, her vocabulary was better than the other students in class. By the end of the year, she was writing stories in English. She didn't study more. She just read more. Reading works, but you have to do it the right way. We'll talk more about that in the next chapters. But for now, remember this. Reading helps your brain see real English. It shows you how words work together. It builds your vocabulary. It makes grammar easy. And it makes learning fun. Reading is not just something you should do. It's something you will want to do once you see how powerful it is. So if you want to speak better, write better, and feel more confident in English, start reading. You'll be surprised how fast your English grows. Chapter 2. How reading helps you speak. No more stumbling over words. Have you ever been in a conversation and suddenly couldn't find the right word? You're trying to say something, but your mind goes blank. The worst part? It's usually the word you know, but it just won't come out. Sound familiar? Well, I've got great news for you. There's a way to avoid this, and the secret is reading. When you read in English, you're constantly exposing yourself to real language. You're seeing how native speakers use words in their everyday lives, whether it's casual conversations, funny stories, or even serious discussions. Books show you how words work in the world. The more you read, the more words you encounter. And guess what? These words aren't just for writing. They're for speaking too. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're reading a book, and you come across a sentence like this. He was feeling overwhelmed by the amount of work he had to do. Now, when you come across the word overwhelmed, you don't just see it on the page. You see it in context. You understand what it means, feeling stressed, like you have too much to do. You don't need a dictionary. You understand it naturally because you saw how it fits into the sentence. Fast forward to a conversation. Someone says something like, I have so much to do today, I'm feeling, boom. You can say, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And it sounds natural. You didn't memorize the word. You just learned it by reading, and now you can use it in conversation. That's the power of reading. It helps you pick up words naturally, just like native speakers do. Native speakers don't sit down and memorize words like we do. They hear them, see them, and use them in everyday situations. It's all part of their learning process. You can do the same thing. Let's break it down. Every time you read, you are encountering words in different contexts. You learn what these words mean and how they fit into the sentence. This is something that active listening or watching movies doesn't always do as well. Sure, you hear words in movies or podcasts, but reading gives you the time to process the words. You can go back, reread, and really understand them. You see grammar in action. You see how words are connected and how sentences are formed. When you read often, you naturally start collecting words. Over time, your brain starts to build a word bank. This is why, after reading for a while, you start feeling more confident speaking. You don't have to search for words, you just know them. Let me share a fun fact with you. Native speakers don't spend a lot of time memorizing vocabulary. They pick up words naturally by being exposed to them over time. You can do the same thing with reading. Now, here's the interactive tip. If you want to improve your speaking, start reading books that are simple and fun. Choose stories that you enjoy, even if they're easy. The key is to read regularly. Pick up books that make you want to read, not books that you feel you have to read for grammar practice. When you enjoy reading, you're not just learning vocabulary. You're also getting used to the rhythm of the language, the way native speakers talk. This will make your speaking sound more natural. And don't worry if the words are new. The more you read, the more they'll stick. You'll start using them in your own conversations, and soon you'll find that you're speaking more fluently. No more stumbling over words. To wrap up this chapter, remember this. Reading is a bridge between what you know and what you can say. The more you read, the more words you have in your mind, waiting to be used in conversations. This doesn't just help you understand the language better, it makes speaking easier too. So, grab that book and keep reading. You're not just learning English, you're building your confidence, one word at a time. Chapter 3. Read for pleasure, not pressure. Make learning fun. Let's face it, English textbooks are boring, right? No one really wants to sit down and read through dry grammar books or those never-ending school stories. They're long, they're repetitive, and let's be honest, they just don't make learning feel exciting. But what if I told you that the key to mastering English actually is reading for fun? Yes, you heard that right. Reading for pleasure can be the game changer in your English learning journey. In this chapter, we're going to talk about how choosing books you enjoy can make learning English feel effortless and fun. Here's the deal. When you read books that you like, whether it's a comic book, a thrilling novel, or even short stories, your brain is not only enjoying the content, but it's also soaking up English without you even realizing it. That's because reading for fun doesn't feel like studying. You're not sitting there forcing yourself to memorize grammar rules or vocabulary lists. Instead, you're naturally absorbing new words, phrases, and sentence structures as you follow the story. And believe me, this works. Here's a shocking statistic to think about. Students who read for fun tend to perform better in language tests and retain more vocabulary than those who stick to traditional textbooks. Yep, that's right. Reading for fun is not just an escape from the pressure. It's actually helping you learn faster. Why? Well, when you enjoy something, you're more likely to do it consistently. And consistency is key. The more you read, the more words, expressions, and grammar structures you'll pick up without even trying. So, how do you make this fun and still effective? Start by picking books that make you want to read, not ones you feel you have to read for language practice. The best part? It doesn't have to be serious or complicated. In fact, it's better to start with something simple that you genuinely find enjoyable. Here are some great options to get started. Comics. Comics are fantastic for beginners. They have lots of visuals, which helps you understand the story even if you don't know every word. Plus, the dialogue is usually short and casual, making it easier to follow. Short stories. Short stories are perfect for a quick read. They're easy to finish in one sitting, and you can quickly see the results of your reading. Look for stories with simple language, but rich plot lines. Easy novels. If you're ready to tackle a novel, pick one that's written for beginners. Think books like Charlotte's Web or Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. These books are widely loved, and they're written with simpler vocabulary, which makes them perfect for learners. Want to get involved? I'd love to hear about your favorite types of books. Are you a fan of mysteries, romance, fantasy? Drop a comment below and let's share ideas. The fun part of learning is discovering what you enjoy. So let's make it interactive. Here's a secret. When you read for fun, your brain works like a sponge. It absorbs the language almost without you realizing it. You might not notice it at first, but after a while, you'll find yourself using new words in conversations or understanding the language more easily. That's the magic of reading for pleasure. So, how do you make it work? Start small. Don't pressure yourself to read an entire novel in a day. Start with a chapter or a few pages a day. Make it part of your routine. Read regularly. The more you read, the more you'll improve. Set aside time each day to enjoy your book. Even just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a difference. Be patient. Language learning isn't about instant results. It's about consistent progress. Keep reading, keep enjoying, and watch how quickly your English improves. To wrap up, learning English doesn't have to be a chore. In fact, when you start reading for pleasure, you'll discover that learning can be just as fun as watching your favorite TV show or playing a game. It's all about making the process enjoyable and engaging, because the more you enjoy it, the more your brain will soak it up. So grab a book you love and let the fun begin. Chapter 4. How to Read the Right Way. Finding books that suit you. You might be wondering, okay, I get it. Reading helps. But what should I read? What's the right book for me? This is a really good question. In fact, choosing the right book is one of the most important parts of learning English through reading. If the book is too hard, you'll feel frustrated. If the book is too easy, you might get bored. So how do you find that sweet spot? Let me tell you something simple. The best book is the one that makes you want to keep turning the page. Not the one with difficult words or fancy grammar. Not the one your teacher told you to read. The best book for you is the one you enjoy, and the one you understand most of the time. Now here's an important tip from research. You should understand at least 98% of the words in the book. That's right, 98%. That means almost every word on the page should be familiar to you. Maybe 1 or 2 new words per page, but not 10. Why? Because if you understand 98%, your brain can focus on the meaning of the story, not on translating every sentence. This is how real learning happens. You're not studying English, you're living it. Let me give you a real example. In an experiment, students were given simple English books to read, books where they already understood almost everything. At first, they thought, "This is too easy. I'm not learning anything." But something amazing happened. After a few weeks, their confidence grew. They started speaking better, writing better, and even understanding spoken English more easily. Why? Because they were reading a lot and feeling good about it. That's the power of reading the right way. So how do you find the right book? Here are a few tips to help you. 1. Test a page. Open a book and read one full page. If you find more than 4 or 5 words that you don't understand, the book might be too hard. Try something simpler. 2. Use graded readers. These are special books made for English learners. They come in levels, a 1, a 2, B1, and so on. Choose a level that feels a little easy, not hard. Remember, it's better to read 10 easy books than to give up halfway through one difficult book. 3. Choose what you enjoy. Do you like adventure stories, romance, science fiction, comedy? Start there. If you enjoy the story, your brain will be more active and you'll learn faster. Don't feel like you must read serious books to learn English. 4th, try translations of books you already know. If you've read The Little Prince or Harry Potter in your own language, read it again in English. Because you already know the story, you'll understand more, and you'll pick up the English easily. 5. Don't be afraid to stop. If you start a book and it feels too hard or too boring, that's okay. Close it. Pick another one. Reading should feel relaxing, not stressful. This is your learning journey. Here's something you might not expect. You don't need to understand every word. Really. If you understand the overall idea of the sentence or the story, that's enough. When we read in our own language, we often skip words too. You're training your brain to get the meaning, not translate everything word by word. So next time you sit down to read, remember, you're not just reading a book. You're building your English, quietly, naturally, and happily. Every easy page you read is a small win. And all those small wins, they add up to real, strong progress. Here's a quick challenge for you. Find one book, just one, that feels easy and fun. Read the first 2 pages. If you're enjoying it, keep going. If not, try another. That's it. No pressure, just fun. Learning English doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be full of grammar charts and vocabulary lists. Sometimes the best way to learn is just to read a story you love. So go find that story and enjoy it. Chapter 5. The Science Behind Reading. How Your Brain Learns Naturally. Let's take a step back and get a little nerdy. But don't worry, I'll keep it fun. Have you ever wondered why reading works so well for language learning? What happens in your brain when you read in English? In this chapter, we're going to explore the science behind it all. Spoiler alert, your brain is smarter than you think. How your brain learns English. Through reading. When you read in English, it's not just about memorizing words and grammar rules. In fact, memorization is often the slowest and least effective way to learn. Instead, reading works because it connects new words to ideas and concepts, things that your brain already understands. This is why you'll often find that you just know what a word means after reading it in context. Think of it like this. Learning English through books is like soaking up knowledge while relaxing. It's not about forcing yourself to remember or study hard. Your brain is always working in the background, making connections, and helping you learn in a natural, stress-free way. The magic of incidental learning. Here's where it gets cool. When you read, you learn a ton without even trying. This is called incidental learning. It means you're picking up new information without even knowing it. Your brain is so good at this. For example, you may come across a new word in a book, but because the sentence gives you clues about the meaning, your brain figures it out almost automatically. This process happens all the time as you read, and it's incredibly powerful. Let's break it down. 1. Vocabulary. When you read, your brain doesn't just memorize words. It understands the meaning of words by connecting them to other ideas in the story. For example, if you're reading a book about a boy who's nervous before giving a speech, your brain links the word nervous to the idea of feeling worried or anxious. Next time you hear the word nervous, you'll already have a solid understanding of it without having to look it up. That's your brain working. 2. Grammar. Grammar rules can be tricky, right? But reading helps you see grammar in action. You'll naturally start recognizing how sentences are put together and how tenses, like past and present, are used. In fact, reading helps you understand grammar more effectively than memorizing lists of rules. For example, instead of memorizing if plus past tense, would plus verb, you'll see it used in real conversations and stories. This makes it stick in your brain. The power of context. What's even cooler is that your brain learns the meaning of words through context, which is just a fancy word for how words are used in a sentence or story. When you're reading, your brain works hard to figure out what a word means based on the other words around it. Think of context as your brain's little cheat sheet. If you see the word storm in a sentence like, "The storm was so loud, it shook the windows," your brain immediately understands what storm means, even if you've never heard the word before. It's all about putting things together. Why this is so effective for learning English. Now, let's talk about why this is so important for you. By reading regularly, you're allowing your brain to practice the natural way of learning a language, just like how you learned your first language as a child. You didn't memorize vocabulary lists or study grammar rules. You learned by listening, observing, and, yes, reading. As you read more, your brain gets more efficient at picking up patterns in the language. It starts to see the grammar rules without you even thinking about them. The more you read, the more fluent you become, almost without effort. So, what's the takeaway? Reading doesn't just help you learn English. It actually trains your brain to understand and use English in the most natural way possible. Your brain is soaking up the language while you relax, enjoy a story, and get better at speaking and understanding English. It's like a workout for your brain, but a fun one. Quick recap. Incidental learning means you're picking up new words and grammar rules without even trying. Your brain connects words to ideas, making new vocabulary easier to remember. Reading in context helps you understand meaning without needing to memorize definitions. The more you read, the smarter your brain gets at learning English. It's as natural as breathing. Reading is a natural, stress-free way to learn. Your brain loves it, and the more you read, the easier learning English becomes. How cool is that? Keep reading, and your brain will do the hard work for you. Chapter 6. Overcoming the Challenge. How to keep going, even when it gets hard. All right, we've covered a lot about why reading is so powerful for improving your English. But let's be real. Sometimes it's just hard. You start reading, feeling excited, but then you hit a word you don't understand, and suddenly it all feels like too much. We've all been there. In this chapter, we're going to tackle how to keep going when things get tough. We'll talk about the power of consistency and why pushing through those challenging moments will pay off in the end. The power of consistency. Here's a little secret. The more you read, the easier it gets, but only if you keep doing it regularly. That means even when it gets difficult, even when you're not understanding every word, you should keep reading. Think of it like going to the gym. You don't get strong after one workout. It's the consistency that builds your strength over time. Even if you can only read for 10 or 15 minutes a day, it adds up. That daily habit over weeks and months makes a huge difference in your fluency. So don't stress about reading for hours. Start small, but make it a daily habit. You'll be amazed at how quickly you improve. A story of struggle and success. Let me share a story about a learner I worked with, Maria. When Maria started, she could barely understand the English books she tried to read. She would pick up a book, get frustrated after reading just a few pages, and put it down. It felt like a never-ending cycle. But Maria didn't give up. She kept reading, even on days when she didn't understand much. She read a few pages a day, sometimes just a paragraph. Over time, those small steps added up. Gradually, she started recognizing more words, understanding more of the story, and feeling more confident. Today, Maria is not only reading entire books, but she's also speaking English fluently. If Maria can do it, so can you. The key is persistence and consistency. It won't be easy all the time, but every day you read, you get closer to fluency. Dealing with difficult words. Now, let's talk about those moments when you hit a word you don't understand. It's frustrating, right? But here's where you can turn a challenge into an opportunity. Instead of stopping and looking up every single word, try to guess its meaning from the context. Context clues are the information around the word that help you figure out its meaning. Look at the sentence, the paragraph, or even the whole story. What's the general idea? What's happening in the scene? Even if you don't understand the word right away, you'll often get a pretty good idea of what it means. For example, in a sentence like, "The man was so tired that his eyelids felt heavy and he could barely keep them open." If you don't know what eyelids mean, you can guess from the context that it refers to part of the face because of the clue, "could barely keep them open." See how helpful context can be? Tips to keep you going. Staying motivated when it feels tough can be tricky, but here are some practical tips to help you push through. 1. Set small, achievable goals. Don't worry about finishing a whole book in 1 week. Focus on reading a few pages or even a chapter. Celebrate those small wins. 2. Don't pressure yourself to understand everything. Remember, It's not about understanding every single word. It's about enjoying the overall experience and letting your brain absorb language naturally. Trust the process. 3. Choose fun and interesting books. If you're reading something you enjoy, even the tough moments will feel more rewarding. Pick books that spark your interest and make you excited to read every day. Mix it up. Sometimes, if a book feels too challenging, it's okay to switch to something easier or more engaging. You can always come back to the more difficult stuff later. 5. Be kind to yourself. Learning a language is hard work. Celebrate every bit of progress, no matter how small it feels. Remember, it's all about the journey. The most important thing is to enjoy the process. Learning English isn't a race. It's a journey, and every day you're getting a little better, even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes. Be patient with yourself and keep moving forward. If you ever feel frustrated or like you're not improving fast enough, just remind yourself of Maria's story or think about all the learners around the world who feel the same way. You're not alone in this. Quick recap. Consistency is key. Even 10 minutes of reading every day will help. Context clues are a powerful tool when you encounter difficult words. Stay motivated by setting small goals, enjoying what you read, and not stressing over every word. Learning English is a journey, not a race. Enjoy the ride. So, next time you hit a tough word or feel like giving up, remember, don't stop, keep going, and you'll see the results. Chapter 7. Real-life success stories. How reading changed my English. Now maybe you're still not sure. Maybe you're thinking, okay, reading sounds good, but does it really work? Can reading really help someone like me? That's a fair question. So today, I want to share some real stories. These are stories of students, people just like you, who started with very basic English. Some were shy, some were scared, some didn't believe they could ever speak English well, but something changed everything for them. They started reading. Let me tell you about Amir. Amir moved to Canada from Pakistan. When he arrived, he could say basic words like hello and thank you, but he didn't feel comfortable speaking. He was nervous all the time. His teacher told him to read in English every day, so he started small. He read short stories, comic books, even children's books. At first, it was hard. He didn't understand everything, but he didn't stop. He read 10 pages every day. Sometimes he read the same story 2 or 3 times. And guess what? After just 6 months, Amir was able to speak more clearly, use new words in conversation, and understand people better. He told me, reading helped me speak without fear. Then there's May from China. May loved English but hated grammar books. She always said, I try to learn grammar, but I forget everything. One day she started reading novels in English, not textbooks, real novels, fun stories. She didn't worry about grammar rules. She just read. After a year, her grammar got better, and she didn't even try to learn it. She said, when I read, I see grammar working. I don't memorize it, but I feel it. It's like my brain knows what's right. I also want to tell you about Samuel from Brazil. Samuel failed English twice in school. He thought he was bad at languages, But then he found a book in English that he really liked, a mystery story. He loved the characters and wanted to know what happened next. So he kept reading, even when it was hard. After a few months, he stopped using his dictionary so much. He started understanding more and more. Reading gave him the confidence to try speaking. Now, Samuel gives presentations at work, in English. These stories are not magic. These are just people who made a small change. They started reading, not for tests, not for teachers. They read because they wanted to enjoy the stories. And slowly, their English improved. Vocabulary, grammar, fluency, all of it got better. Why does this work? Because when you read, you don't just study the language. You live in it. You see how native speakers use words. You see how sentences are built. And your brain starts to learn without pressure. You start to think in English. That's the power of reading. You don't have to read difficult books. In fact, you shouldn't. All of the students I told you about started with easy books. Some read fairy tales. Some read comics. Some read short books with pictures. The important thing is, they read what they liked. If you like sports, read sports stories. If you like romance, read love stories. If you like jokes, read funny books. When you enjoy reading, you want to keep going. And the more you read, the better your English becomes. Let me tell you a little about myself, too. I was once a beginner in another language. I tried to learn Spanish for years with classes and apps, but nothing worked. Then I started reading books, first easy ones, then longer ones. I stopped looking up every word. I just read. After reading 1,000,000 words, I could speak and understand Spanish at an intermediate level. And I didn't memorize anything. I just read every day. So I can tell you from experience, both as a learner and as a teacher, reading works. It works for students. It worked for me. And it will work for you too. If you're still not sure where to begin, don't worry. In the next chapter, we'll talk about how to start reading today, what books to pick, how long to read, and how to enjoy the process from the beginning. Quick recap. Amir, May, and Samuel all improved their English, not through grammar drills, but through daily reading. Reading helps your brain learn naturally, without stress. Choose fun, easy books that match your interests. Success comes from daily practice, and you don't need to be perfect. Remember, if they can do it, so can you. You are not alone. Many learners have walked this path, and now it's your turn. Chapter 8. Your next step. How to start reading today. We've come a long way together. You've learned how reading helps you speak better, understand grammar naturally, build your vocabulary, and most importantly, enjoy learning English. Now it's time for the most important part, starting. Yes, today is the perfect day to begin your reading journey. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. So, how do you begin? Let me walk you through a simple plan, step by step. Step 1. Pick a book that's fun and easy. Don't choose a difficult book. Don't choose a textbook. Choose something you think you'll enjoy. That could be a comic book, a short story, or a children's novel. Yes, children's books are great for English learners. They use real English, but they are short and simple. If you like animals, read stories about animals. If you love love stories, read a romance. If you like detectives, find a mystery book. The most important thing is this: you must like it. If it's boring, stop reading and try something else. Step 2. Don't use a dictionary. Yes, you heard me. When you read, don't stop every time you see a new word. Try to guess the meaning from the sentence. If you can understand the story without knowing every word, you are doing great. Reading is not about understanding 100%. It's about understanding enough to enjoy the story. If you understand 95% to 98%, that's perfect. Trust your brain. It learns more when you relax. Step 3. Read every day, even for 5 minutes. You don't need to read for hours. Even 5 minutes a day can make a big difference. Set a small goal. Maybe you read 1 page today, maybe 5 pages tomorrow. That's okay. What matters is that you read every day. Reading is like brushing your teeth. Small actions every day keep your English clean and healthy. Step 4. Track your reading. Make a little notebook or open a note on your phone. Write down the date, the name of the book, and how many pages you read. This helps you feel proud of your progress. When you see the pages adding up, you'll feel motivated to read more. It's a simple way to keep going. Step 5. Talk about what you read. If you have a friend learning English too, talk about the book. Share what you liked. Tell them what happened in the story. If you don't have a friend learning, try writing a few lines about the book in English. Today, I read a story about a cat. It was funny. That's it. Simple is good. You are practicing English. Let me give you an example. One of my students, Rena, started reading English just 6 months ago. She didn't know where to begin. I told her, "Find a book that's too easy." She laughed, but she listened. She started with a story for children. Then she read another one. Now she reads a whole book every month, and her speaking is faster, her confidence is higher, and she finally enjoys learning English. This can be your story too. Let me say something important. It's okay to start small. It's okay to be slow. It's okay to feel unsure. The only thing that matters is that you begin. Once you start, the magic will happen, slowly, naturally, day by day. Reading is not just about learning, it's about enjoying the journey. It's about falling in love with the language. And I promise, the more you enjoy it, the better your English will become. So here's my challenge to you. Find one book today. Just one. It can be a comic, a fairy tale, or a story from the internet. Read 1 page. That's it. Just 1 page. Then tomorrow, read another. And if you like it, keep going. You've made it through 8 chapters with me. That means you care about your English. You want to grow. And you're ready to take action. Let's do this together. Drop a comment below and tell me, what book will you read first? Like this video if you found it helpful, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips, lessons, and story-based learning. Hit the bell so you never miss a new episode. And share this video with a friend who wants to improve their English too. Reading is your superpower now. Let's read together and grow together. See you in the next video. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. Now that you know why reading is so important, it's time to take action. Hit that like button if you found this video helpful, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of my tips. Got any questions or favorite books to recommend? Leave a comment down below. Let's keep the conversation going. Remember, reading is the key to mastering English. So start today and let's learn together.